everyone, I'm Pat, the registered kinesiologist and certified exercise physiologist here at the Centre de Santé. I know everybody's locked in their homes right now and trying to avoid people, so I just wanted to provide you guys some kind of exercises you guys can still do at home, because obviously I want you guys to keep up with your exercises as best you can. So today we're going to be getting into the orange exercises, which for some of you guys that come here, remember the orange exercises up here. And we'll be showing pictures of these things for you guys so that you guys can compare them to the ones you might have at home too. So remember, before you start your exercises, you want to start with a little bit of a warm-up. So usually that's a short walk anywhere. If you live in an apartment building, you can walk around your hallways. If you want to go outside and do your walk before, if you just want to do something to kind of warm up your muscles, it kind of helps wake up your nervous system and get them ready before exercise too. And it helps prevent injuries, right? So we always want to make sure we do anything for a warm-up. If you want, you can also do just some light stretching. It's up to you guys if you want to use that. If you have a bike or arm bike or anything, any kind of equipment at home, you can use those as your source of a warm-up. So what you'll need today is you'll need some ankle weights for one exercise. You'll need a band, which most of you might have gotten from me already. Any kind of resistance bands that you can find. If you don't have this, that's okay. We can still figure out a way to do the exercise without the bands. And you'll need a set of weights, or you can use cans, soup cans, water bottles. You can use, even if you have stuff in your garage like tools, you can use some tools that have some decent amount of weight to them. The weight's going to vary per person, but you want to stick to probably something between 2 and 5 pounds for the most part for most of these exercises, okay? So we'll start with number one. That's the wall push-up. So at home, of course, all you'll need is some kind of wall to hold on to. So this works kind of the chest muscles, your tricep muscles. So any kind of pushing movement, that's what it helps to strengthen, right? So obviously this is a strengthening exercise, but it's a body weight strengthening exercise, right? So body weight resisted. So basically you're gonna have your hands about shoulder width apart for this one. You can adjust your resistance based on how far your feet away from the wall are, right? So if my feet are further away from the wall, that means I'm putting more resistance into it, which means more body weight into it. If my feet are closer to the wall, that means I'm putting less of my body weight, so less resistance, right? So it'll be a little bit easier. So I want you guys to stick to roughly 10 to 15 repetitions for each of these exercises. You want to feel that fatigue feeling roughly around that time, right? So either it's at 10, 12, 14, whatever it is, but you want to feel a little bit of fatigue in your muscles, right? So let's start with the first exercise. So hands about shoulder width apart, and then I'm going to go in and count them out with me if you want, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously make sure you don't smack your nose on the wall. 5. I'll go a little bit over 10 for you guys, just for some of you guys that want to challenge yourselves a little bit more. All right, so that's set number one. Next, you want to take maybe a 1 to 2 minute rest, right, to let your muscles rest up a little bit, because you obviously just fatigued them. And then we'll go on over and do another set. So I'm not going to take too many breaks in between, just for the sake of keeping this video short, but I'll just kind of go through each set for now. So second set, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So yeah, feel free to stop at 10 if you want to. Even if you can only make it to 8, that's fine, right? Do whatever you can. Of course, everybody has different capability levels, so you know, take a rest whenever you need to also, right? So remember also that at any time during this video, in between sets if you want to, you can just hit the pause button and stop the video if you need a longer rest or you just need to take a breather throughout your set. So it's completely okay for you to do that. So for exercise number 2, we're going to be using the ankle weights. So this is called the seated leg kick. So basically it's an exercise to help strengthen your quad muscle, which is some of the bigger muscles in your legs. If you don't have these, that's fine. You can use anything that would add weight to your ankles, and just literally you could just tape it around your ankle. Like a bag of sugar, a bag of rice, a heavy boot even will work, right? Just anything to add weight to your foot, pretty much. So I'll just wrap these around here. So all you're going to do is sit in your chair, and you're going to start with your knee bent at 90 degrees, and then all you're doing is basically straightening your knee all the way out like this, and then slowly back down. So that's 1, 1. You can alternate like I'm doing, 2, 2, or you can do all one leg first. So do your 10 to 15 on one leg, and then alternate and do your 10 to 15 on the other leg. That's fine too if you want to do it that way. It's really up to you how you want to do it. I'm just going to alternate for when I'm doing it right now. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. So make sure also when you're going down, you're not letting your weight just drop down like this, right? You're letting down nice and slow, right? Because you're going to feel a little bit more in the muscle if you go nice and slow. And that goes with every exercise we're going to do today, basically. That just, you know, if you feel it more in the muscle, you won't have to do as many repetitions that way too, right? So that means you're doing the exercise properly, right? So 13, 14, and 15. All right, so that's set number 1. Like I said before, 2 to 3 minute break or 1 to 2 minute break, whatever it is that you want to take. You want to wait until that kind of burning fatigue feeling kind of goes away in your legs, and then you're ready to do your second set after that, right? And for your second set, don't worry if you can only do, let's say your first set you did 10 reps, your second set, if you can only get 8 reps, that's fine. You've already fatigued your muscle for your first set, right? So it's common that you can't do as many repetitions on your second or your third set even, right? So for some of you, you guys might only have to do 1 set, and you guys, that might be enough for you. For some of you guys, you might need to do 2 or 3 sets to get that optimal amount of fatigue, right? It varies a lot per person. So do what you can, and if you have to stop halfway through the workout, that's okay. Start with that, and then basically every few weeks you can start to, you know, build up some resistance and increase it as you go through. So now for your second set of your seated leg extensions. So 1, 2, 3. So remember, you're going to feel it right in these muscles right here. You should feel it in there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's okay if you want to stop at 10, that's completely okay. Or 11 or 12. Anytime you need to stop, if you feel that fatigue feeling, that's fine, you can stop there. 13, 14, and 15. Exercise number 3 is a front raise with the dumbbells. So basically this is a shoulder exercise, mostly working the front of the shoulders. So we'll start with, I'm using about 4 pounds. You guys can use whatever you want. Try to use a lighter weight if you have 2 different sets, right, for this one as opposed to the next exercise you're gonna be doing. So we'll get started now then. 1, 2. Same thing with this one. You can alternate if you want, or you can do all your one arm first and then do the other arm afterwards if you want. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, almost done, and 15. So that's your first set. Remember, 2 to 3 minute rest, and then we can do another one after that. So now for a second set of your dumbbell raises. 1, 2, 3. So remember, you want to do it nice, slow and controlled the whole way, right? So slow on the way down. You can go a little quicker on the way up if you want to, but always slow on the way down, right? So you're not just letting the weights drop down. You risk injuring yourself that way too, right? And you're just not getting as much out of the exercise that way too. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So between exercises 3 and 4, so between your front raises and your bicep curls, we're going to throw in a little bit of cardio in here. So you can use any kind of step you have at home. It doesn't have to be on a staircase. Just make sure it's something, you know, solid and something you might have some railings or something to hold on to, even a table, chair, whatever it is that you can step up and down on, okay? So the exercise is basically, like it implies, just a step up. So I'm just stepping up with 2 feet and then down 2 feet. So with this exercise, you're going to be doing however many you can. So you want to go until your legs start fatiguing. You're going to go until you start getting short of breath. Obviously you might start sweating, that's fine. But it is an exercise that works your cardiovascular system, so you're likely going to get more shorter breath on these ones rather than doing your strengthening exercises with the weights, right? So do as many as you can. Go at whatever tempo you want. If you want, you can go a little bit slower than what I'm doing, or you can go a little quicker if you want to get yourself kind of out of breath quicker, or to, you know, get the exercise over quicker. It's all about how much you want to challenge yourself and how vigorous intensity you want to accomplish, right? So you can do it at more light intensity. You can do it while doing your pursed lip breathing or your breathing, right? So breathing within each step, so you can slow it down and do, or you can go faster if you want. Not exactly sure how many repetitions I'm at right now, probably about 15. I'm going to do about 30 today for our first set, and then we'll do about another 30 for our second set too. That's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and make sure if you have to use the railings, to use the railings, right? 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So remember, this is also a really good leg strengthening exercise at the same time. It's not only cardio, it's kind of a double whammy exercise, right? So So for the fourth exercise, we have the double bicep curl. So obviously, as the name implies, it's to work your bicep muscle. Remember, for any of these exercises too, you can simply just do them sitting down. Of course, with some of these exercises, you want to find a chair without any arms, because this one is kind of, the arms of the chair are going to get in my way. For the front raise, you can also use a chair for it. Obviously, seated leg kicks, you're going to be sitting down for them. So just remember that any exercise we do, there's a way to do them sitting down for the most part, okay? So I'll do them standing up for the purpose of the video, but you can sit down and follow along with me if you want to. So 1, 2, so make sure that your elbows kind of stay just tucked into your sides and they're not moving. So I don't want you doing like this and moving your elbows up, right? Because that means you're not really isolating the bicep very well and you're not working just that muscle, which is what we're trying to do today. So this whole circuit of exercises is set up so that you're working all your different major muscle groups, right? So that's the way I set them up. So we want to make sure we're really using the right muscle when we're doing it, right? 12, 13, 14, and 15. So after your 2 to 3 minute rest, you can start with your second set of the exercise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, for exercise number 5, it's called the sit to stand or the chair squat or just squats, right? So I'm going to show you 2 different variations. So the first variation is doing a sit to stand using your chair. So sitting up and down on your chair. Obviously, you're going down to about 90 degrees for this one. So if you have a hard time getting up from that position, you can also use your arms to push yourself up a little bit and then try to use your legs for the rest of it. The second variation is going to be behind your chair so that you don't have to do as deep of a squat. So you're going to hold onto your chair for balance. Then all I'm going to do is basically squat down as low as I want to, right? You can just be a nice little quarter squat like this if you want to. That's completely fine, right? But for the sake of the video today, I'll be doing both of them for the sake of the video, okay? So your first set, remember 10 to 15 repetitions. This one you're going to feel it in your leg muscles here and your butt muscles also a little bit, right? So we're working kind of most of our leg muscles for this one, right? So you're going to sit. And for me, I'm probably not going to use I'm not going to push up with the arms, but if you want, you can do that, right? 4, 5. If you want to, also you can hover over top and barely even touch it if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, because that doesn't allow your legs to rest as much. It keeps your leg muscles working the whole way because I'm barely giving them a rest by sitting down, right? 8, 9, and for some of you guys at 10, you might have to take a rest because this one probably will make you more short of breath or more tired than the usual exercises because you're resisting your whole body weight and you're using some big muscle groups, right? So I'm at 13 right now, 14, and 15. So 1 to 2 minute rest, 2 to 3 minute rest, whatever you need to do for your rest period or to catch your breath. And then we'll get into your second set. For those of you that want to stick to that first method, you can. For those of you guys that want to use this method, you can also do that, right? Whatever one you prefer. This one is a little bit easier than the first one, okay? 1, 2, 3. And some people find it more comfortable sometimes to have their legs a little bit further apart like this and do their squat, or a little closer together, right? So it all depends on what your comfort level is and where you feel comfortable doing your squat. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So for exercise number 6, you're going to need your resistance bands. So for some of you guys that came to our program, I probably gave you something that looks like this with a knot at the top. So you can use that. I'll show you how to use that one. Or you can use one that's a loop. That's fine too. Obviously, all of them come in different resistances. So this is a different resistance than green than blue. But also make sure you're checking your bands on a regular basis to make sure there's no cracks or they're not drying out, because these things can snap. And of course, it can hurt when it snaps back at you when it breaks, right? Or whoever's exercising with you, if that's the case, right? So for this exercise, basically, I'm just taking the band. You can change your resistance on this band by bringing your arms closer together, usually by choking up on the band more, or to make it easier, you would bring your hands apart, and that would make it a little bit easier, right? So what I'm doing for this exercise is I'm basically keeping my arms completely straight. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make my shoulder blades come together, right? So when I'm exercising, my shoulder blades are apart when I'm like this, and then they're coming together when I'm bringing my arms out like that, right? So I'm working those muscles between my shoulder blades, right? So it's a very good postural exercise. And of course, the better our posture is, the better our breathing also is, right? So because it just allows your muscles to work properly, all your breathing muscles, right? In order to get a nice deep breath of air in your lungs, right? So we'll start with first set. So 1. So make sure you're squeezing those shoulder blades together. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and remember I'm doing 15, but always roughly 10 to 15, right? If you want to stop at 10, that's fine. If 10 is too hard, it probably means you're either choking up on your band too much or you have too heavy of a band, so drop down a little lighter. 13, 14, and 15. So 2 to 3 minute rest. Wait until that, you're probably going to feel it between your shoulder blades, like I said, right? That burning fatigue feeling between there. And then we'll do one more set. So I'm not going to rest throughout the exercises, but you guys feel free to take a rest. So feel free to hit that pause button and rest up. So second set, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So for exercise number 7, it's called a calf raise. So obviously it's to work out your calf muscles, right? So these are really important with walking, of course, because you're always using calf muscles when you're walking or moving or going upwards on anything, right? So the first one we're going to do is we're going to use a chair for it. So that's a more easy version of the exercise. The second one, we're going to use a step. So any kind of staircase, any kind of elevation that you can put your toes up on. So we'll start with the chair first. Feel free to do the chair for both sets or the step for both sets. It's really up to you how much you want to challenge yourself, okay? So the first one. So you're going all the way up as high as you can. 2, And then nice and slow on the way down until your heels hit the ground pretty much, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So 2 to 3 minute rest. If you need less than that, that's fine. If you need more, you can take a longer rest. Second set, like I said, we'll do it on the step, right? So what you want is you want just your toes basically on the tip of the staircase, on the edge of the step. And this one, you're going to allow your heels to drop down lower, so it's a bigger range of motion, which obviously fatigues the muscle more, right? So we'll start with this. 1, so all the way up and all the way back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you feel your toes slipping off the staircase, it's okay to readjust and do that and then keep going, right? So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So that was the orange circuit. Remember that you can do it as often as you would like to, but you should probably stick to maybe once every other day that you're doing this at most, because these are strengthening exercises, so you probably need to give yourself a day's rest in between to let your muscles kind of rebuild themselves, as long as you're challenging your muscles enough. If you're doing it without weights, you can probably afford to do these every day. Your cardio exercises, those can be done every day. Next week we will be doing a different circuit, so stay tuned, and we will post another video next week on the blue circuit most likely.